This is Cindy Moss, and I'm going to go through our final presentation with you for personal finance. This is the first thing that you will do is you're going to create your introductory slide, and on your introductory slide, you are to add a picture of yourself. I prefer that you use a webcam shot on the main page if possible so that I can see who's giving the presentation. If you use, just like I threw one over here, a picture, then I am going to count off for that because it does, the directions do say use a webcam presentation. Okay, so let's start by looking at how I'm going to grade your presentation. Now, before I start, I do want to mention at the very top of this, you're going to see two different course numbers. One says BUS 305, one says BBA 435. They are the exact same class, using the same book, using everything is exactly the same. You're graded exactly the same. The BBA is our totally online the Bachelor of Business Administration. So that is why sometimes you may see something that says BUS 305 and you're in BBA. Just know that it's the same thing, and somehow I just forgot to change the course number. So this is the grading rubric. Now the grading rubric is uploaded in EagleWeb. Make sure that you look at it and that you kind of keep that in mind. Over here it talks about you have to have 14 slides, and I just saw over here it's showing 16. I just changed that from 16 to 14, and I failed to get the 14 over on the other side. I do apologize for that. Oh, what I did was I combined two chapters, and then I cut one chapter completely out. So that is why that's a little different. It has to be 12 minutes in length and not over 25, because if it was 25 and I've got 45 students in these two classes, I would be grading papers all the time. So just keep that in mind. You must have a minimum of 3 references. Now notice it does say main campus. You have to include a guest speaker. That does not apply to either of you. And then as you just go down, I'm not going to read every bit of this for you. You can see it. But one thing I do want to point out is that you must use SmartArt and not bullets. If you use bullets, then you will be counted off 5 points per slide where there are bullets used. It has to be a PowerPoint or another type of presentation program that you can do a voiceover. It has to have 2 slides with graphics or clip art, and it has to have at least 1 slide with a chart or a graphic, okay? All right, so that just kind of goes quickly over how I grade it. What I do is I take the rubric, I grade it, I scan it, and then I will send you the rubric back to you via email. Now, this one is just the guidelines for the final presentation. And again, it is posted in EagleWeb, so make sure that you look at that. Again, minimum of 14 slides. And I go back over how I combined some and how you must have an introductory slide, which is no problem, but here's where a lot of my students fall down. They forget to add a summary slide, and you also have to have a reference slide. And then it has to be PowerPoint or another presentation tool that allows you to do a voiceover. You're going to narrate this just as if you were doing it before a live audience. One thing I do caution you is, especially if you are on a Mac, you must make sure that I can open your presentation, because I do not have a Mac. I have an HP Tower, and I also have a Dell laptop, but I have to be able to open it to see it. I have had students that use YouTube. I can generally get those and to open. Again, do not use bullets. I'll count off for that. Use SmartArt. I'm going to show you some examples. Work on your presentation. We're in week 3 starting Monday. So you've finished 4 chapters. Go back starting this Monday and start 1 and 2 are combined. So start looking at doing a slide for those, and start working on these as during the week when you have some extra time. Your presentation is due on Thursday, May 2nd at 11:55 p.m. If I do not receive it by that time, you will receive a 0 for your presentation, and it is 20% of your grade. I have to grade every one of these presentations. I have to sit, I have to look at them, I have to listen to them. It takes me anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes to grade one presentation. So I have to have grades turned in on the following Monday. I will spend my entire weekend grading, so I cannot take late presentations. Submit your presentation through OneDrive, or most of the people, theirs are not so long that they cannot email the link to me or email me the direct presentation. But if it will not upload through the email, Reinhardt email, then put it in your OneDrive and share the link with me. Over here are just some examples of some of the chapters and the questions. Now, what I want you to pay close attention to is at the bottom, and I know my picture is kind of hiding this, but it is on the hard copy in EagleWeb. Your presentation is based on how it relates to you. Don't just open up a chapter 1 and 2 and just recite back to me what you've learned in chapter 1 and 2. Tell me how you are going to use this information. No, you're probably not going to do life insurance at 18, 19, or 20 years old. But as you think about when you're in your 30s and you're starting to think about life insurance, which would you choose and why? So that is one thing I try to stress, is make it apply to you. Don't just learn from it. All right, so I'm going to go now and I'm going to show you a couple of slides. These are from a previous student's presentation, but I just kind of wanted to go over and give you some examples that you could see how they used SmartArt. Okay, so chapter 1 and 2 is goal setting. So this young man used this type of a SmartArt, and he did the SMART acronym, SMART, and then he came over here and he told me, he verbally told me, because remember, you have a 7x7 rule, so he could not type all of this on his presentation. This is a jumping off point for you to talk to me. He gave me his short-term goal, his intermediate goal, and his long-term goal. Then in chapter 3, he identified ways that he would think about starting to minimize taxes to be able to save. And so again, here's SmartArt. Here is my graphic that I had to have. So he told me a little bit about that. Chapter 6, he talked about new cars, used cars, leasing cars. Which one, when he graduates, would he consider and why? And 8, he talked about insurance and what kind of insurance he felt like he would need for whatever kind of vehicle he was going to buy. And then here's where he talked about insurance and which he would do, which he felt like would be best for him. Now, I did not put a slide in here that showed a graph, but he did have one, and I'm sorry, I didn't want to put his whole presentation in here. So on this one, he could do a comparison of term and whole life in a pie chart or anything like that. But you do have to have either a graph or a pie chart, some type of a chart. Then he talked about, and this is very interesting, I love listening to these, is if you inherited $50,000 and you could only invest it, you could not go out and buy a new house or a car or something like that, what would you do and why? And so this young man said he was going to take it and he was going to buy beachfront rental property, and that was how he was going to invest it in making his investment through rentals, which I thought, is that what I wanted? But it is investing. He was investing his $50,000. Now, on the summary slide, tell me what you learned in this class and how you can apply it to your life. Don't just say, I learned a lot in this class and I'm going to use it in the future. That's not what I want to hear. And I don't want you to say you were great or anything like that. I want you to say, in this class, one of my favorite things was I learned how to budget. From the video we watched from Brad Burnett, he helped me learn the differences in needs or wants. And so starting now, I'm even going to apply that to my life, even though I am not a college graduate. So in this summary slide, go back and tell me what you learned and how you're going to apply it. And finally, this again is where a lot of my students forget to do. You must have a works cited page, and you already use APA formatting, and I just put a couple of them in here just to kind of give you an idea. If I'm hoping everyone in here knows how to do APA formatting. If not, you can do it in Word. You just type everything in. That's what I did. I just went into Word and I typed in our textbook, and it pulled up the reference for me. So you must have 3 citations. You can use videos. I know in our discussion boards, a lot of you are using videos. Just make sure that you reference your video that you have used to within your presentation, that you make sure that you cite it here on your final page. And I believe that is all of this presentation. If you have any questions, please email me, give me a call. We can Skype. I'll be glad to Skype with you. If you are on campus and you need help, you can come by my office. I'm in my office from 12 to 1:30 to 2, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I do have classes from 8 to 12, so I am not available, during the morning, but I'd be glad to meet with you in the afternoon if you need help. So good luck with the presentation. Get started. Don't wait until the April 30th to start this presentation, or you're not going to do your best work. Thank you and enjoy this class.